Have you ever had anybody tell you to grow up? That's kind of a hard thing to hear because, we expect ourselves as grown-ups to make good choices, to be mature, but every once in a while we might do something silly. I know I certainly do, and my wife or somebody else might say, you need to grow up. Generally, it's said in a spirit of fun, but it's interesting to think as a Christian, God expects us to grow up. God expects us that after He has brought us into His family and we are born again by the water and the Spirit that we read about in John chapter 3, we are expected to mature. Now in 2 Peter chapter 2, Peter says it's incredibly clear that if we have tasted that the Lord is good, that we should long for the pure spiritual milk of the word. And just like you would expect from a newborn baby, all that they're going to be consuming is milk. And that's a very good thing. They need to take that milk, they need to grow. And as they're growing, eventually they're not going to only be able to have milk anymore. They'll be able to stomach some more solid food. That's exactly what it's like for a Christian. In Hebrews 5 and 6, kind of at the end of chapter 5, beginning of chapter 6, we see the writer of Hebrews saying to his audience that at this time they should be teachers, but unfortunately they haven't been growing. They're not able to handle solid food and they're just going back to the milk. There's an expectation as Christians that we grow, and that once we've grown and we can understand some more difficult concepts, that we should be teaching other people. Now, as we consider growth, one thing that I'm working on lately as I grow is the fact that Jesus tells us that every single word that we say will be judged. Every careless word that we say on the day of judgment will be called to account. And I'm kind of thinking about that lately and thinking, how do I feel about every single word that I say being called before God as I stand before His throne on the day of judgment? That's something that I'm working on. What are you working on? What are you growing towards? I hope that we are all being shaped into the image of Jesus Christ, that we're all growing towards that perfect model that we see in His life. And I hope that we realize that every one of us as a Christian, we're expected to grow, and God wants to help us grow. He wants us to get to that next step in life and to be closer to Him and more in alignment with His Son.